Here we will document the Traiboros. Here we see a baby Traiboros whom we will call Sapphire trying to escape a Magnosaurus. The Magnosaurus is quickly angered. What will Sapphire do? She has an advantage. Sapphire is semi-aquatic. They are creatures who calm down in water and gain stamina in water. Traiboros is also rather fast and small. Another advantage for little Sapphire. Sapphire is curious but not wary. Magnosauruses can cause painful bites. And it looks like she'll lose it soon, for the Magnosaurus is slowing down. And she did lose it. She was running in the direction of the desert. Oh, looks like she changed course. Maybe to distract it. She dives into the water and runs on the grass. A quick glance at the Magnosaurus, and back to running toward the desert. From what we've seen of the desert, it's a rather good place. And it has lots of berries, meat, lots of other creatures, and water. So you can live in the desert. It's just the creatures to be wary of. Sapphire glances nervously, as you can see from her pace, but she continues to run on. Then she sees other nice places that she could go to if the desert and wherever became too tough for her. She crossed the little lake that had made it separated the desert and the other places. She sees many carcasses, which is a very good thing, for she is getting hungry. And in just one bite of the carcass, she is full. Satisfied, she began to get a bit more playful. She gave a playful bite. She thought it would get angry, from what it looks like, but it didn't. Sapphire's climbing now and exploring. Oh, little Sapphire got her head stuck. She gotta be careful. And she's going to climb this. Oh, Alicious. Oh no, she must be careful. Oh, nice view. Delicious has attacked her. She jumped off, yelping. She dives into the water in hopes of taking shelter. Let's just hope the kindles and lures don't go for her, for they are semi-aquatic too. Indecisive, she kept on lying down, getting up, for she felt death marching. The next day now, she is much better. She sees a Murk has made a mud puddle and decides to lay and play a little in it. The Murk doesn't mind, surprisingly, which honestly most of the time they would attack. Well, that's what she would think. So, she began to explore the desert more and check if that Delicious was still there. Though, of course, there was still another enemy lurking. Not just Delicious. Delicious has gone, she sees. She sees a hushhike attacking a nest. She has no idea it's the hushhike's nest itself. So, she begins to attack the hushhike. She realized it was a bad idea, but had to give it her all. She bit desperately, in the hopes that she could try and drive the hushhike away from the nest, even though she has no idea it's its own and she's trying to move. Then realizing that, Sapphire has jumped off. She dives into the water. Thankfully, hushhikes aren't semi-aquatic, so she's more nervous about the lure and the kindle in the water too. She knows they're actually very dangerous predators. She's very indecisive and tired, injured. She yelps out her pain to the world. This is too much for our little Sapphire. She's still a very young little one. She yelped at the side of the polish drum, which looked like it would try to attack. She yelped the fact that she's dying, even though knowing the fact that no one would really care. Sighing, she got out of the water, low, very injured, but stopped bleeding, so that means she saw a cantaloupe and thought it'd be a very good snack. So she began to run toward it. At the same moment, she's grown into a teenager, stronger, faster, and more majestic. Sapphire shows the fact she's grown, now gaining her frills and feathers at the end of her tail. She runs back, deciding this was not worth it. She ate a berry and invited a grimace to her pack. Of course, it didn't come, for, well, it didn't want to join. She decided to eat berries instead, grumbling, doing a small growl, as you can see, a bit annoyed. She hadn't had some meat in a while, and she genuinely wants to have some for a little. Then she thinks she's seen the cantaloupe once. No, just Alicious. She just smells more berries and Alicious and the other creatures around. She drinks the water, nervously glancing around, making the mistake not to be careless and foolish as she was before, it looks like. She goes around the grimace and kennels, and she looks around for the cantaloupe. She's not really in the mood for fish meat either. Right now, she honestly just wants meat. But she saw the cantaloupe but missed it. She didn't bother this time. She began to climb the paths in the desert she hadn't really gotten to explore much. So, she proceeded. It was finally morning, and at last she had this area to herself. No a hitchhiker attacking its own nest. She admired it for a little. And no Alicious, too. It was nice. Pretty nice. So, she climbed up the area she didn't get to explore and circled. Then she saw a ledge. Curious, she proceeded to climb it again. Then she saw a nice pool of comforting water. She decided to, just swim about in it. And it's very nice indeed. And she just learns a new trick, a hiding trick. It'll show her paw prints a little, but she knows that can be hidden. She sat on the sand. And then now she's gonna hide. Watch. She's gonna hide in a second. Boom! You can't even see her. Just her footprints. Now that's intelligent, isn't it? I think only semi-aquatic creatures and sea creatures are able to do this, of course. Sapphire just glances at the view and just, poked her head out and watched the rest of Sonaria. She loved the desert now. It was her home, even though it was very dangerous. She then realized she was beginning to get hungry and thirsty. She smelled for food. She leapt off and began to sprint about. She saw a very badly bleeding baby Kendall that she could eat. No, she wouldn't. She realized the poor thing was getting attacked by that cantaloupe. Time to end it once and for all. Though the story doesn't go as well as you think. She immediately chases after the cantaloupe as fast as her paws can drag her. She growled. She's growling. For she was faster when she was younger, but a bit slower now. The grimace is also chasing it, but turns back since it's nearly out of the desert. She doesn't want to lose. Now Sapphire is a determined little Traiboros. She's not gonna let that cantaloupe get away like it did nothing. So she had a plan. She went into the water, knowing she'd be very hard to spot. She would be at the ground. And she'd also heal herself a little too, for she was rather injured really. Then her bleeding stopped a little, not fully at all really. It was actually still bleeding. She spotted the cantaloupe and went to strike. She's lunged out of the water to strike. She sees the cantaloupe thinking this wrongdoing have been forgiven. And Sapphire does not forgive her yet. Then she proceeds to chase the cantaloupe. She's so furious, she's blinded by fury. And that can lead to a bad ending. The cantaloupe all of a sudden overpowers her. Where as an adult, she realizes. She began to run. Now the cantaloupe was chasing her. She knew nothing else she could do. Blinded by her fear, terror, and sadness, she began to simply climb and climb and climb. Poor thing was also going to die of hunger. She realized he needed to accept fate. She let it chase her. She let it. She leapt off and knew one thing. She just wanted to die in peace. So she is letting the cantaloupe chase her as she sprints across. Tears in her eyes. She sees Delicious, the baby Kendall, the grimaces, all of those whom she's known for so long. But the poor thing didn't even get to grow up. And now she dove into the water, terrified, but knowing well she was going to die. This cantaloupe's merciless, no mercy at all. And just as she takes her last breath, just as she reached her last breath, she grew into an adult and is now